Hey guys, welcome back to Diablo 3, 11:10 here, and today we're going to briefly go over a Season 10 build for the Wizard. Now, this character I'm showing you is from a previous season, but it's got all the goodies that I would like to get for Season 10, and I'll be able to show you exactly what you need to try this build out. Now, the last time I ran this build kind of seriously, I got to GR 65 with it before I kind of got bored and stopped playing. And that typically tends to happen with me almost every season, that I get my items and then I'm kind of done. I don't like to farm ancients. I just like to get my basic items and get out of there. So with optimized items and even primals this season, plus the buffs to the set that we're going to talk about, this may become even more viable. But I would look at it as a fun build. I wouldn't look at it as something that you would be super try hard with. So if you're looking to hit top 10 ladder or something like that, you may want to be looking at another video on YouTube. So getting right into it, with that disclaimer behind us, the set that we do use is Delcyr's Magnum Opus, and this is the actual bonus set for this season for Wizards, so it should make it very easy for you to get. The set bonuses are casting Arcane Orb, or the rest of them that are listed there, reduces the cooldown of slow time by 3 seconds. So Arcane Orb is one of our skills. The second set bonus, you take 60% reduced damage while you have a slow time active. So you don't actually need to be in your slow time to get that reduced damage. You just have to have it active. Allies inside your slow time gain half benefit. And the sixth set bonus is enemies affected by your slow time and for 5 seconds after exiting the slow time, take 3500% increased damage from your Arcane Orb, which we use, and Spectral Blade, which we also use. So you could choose, I guess, if you're having this set, you could choose any of the other skills, but we're going for a melee wizard with Arcane Orb and Spectral Blade as the main damage dealers. So the items that we get, apart from a full 6 set, now I don't use Royal Ring of Grandeur because I don't need it in this particular build. So I go for Focus and Restraint as the set items for my rings, which will give me 50% increased damage for 5 seconds while spending a resource generating or resource spending attack. And when you're alternating between these two, you pretty much have that up 100% of the time. The belt I use is Shim of Delcyr, which gives me 50% attack speed on signature spells, i.e. Spectral Blade, and it restores 10 arcane power. My main hand weapon, Spectral Blade, attacks 50% faster and deals 150% increased damage. The high roll is 200, so I got a crappy roll on that there. And then my offhand is Triumvirate, which gives me 200% boost to Arcane Orb after casting a signature spell. So you cast Spectral Blade, you get a buff to your Arcane Orb, up to 3 times. Now Spectral Blade speed is quite fast, and that combines with some of our passives to give us extra defenses and extra survivability. The amulet I went for was simply a Hellfire amulet. I was lucky enough to get the Blur passive on it and a pretty high crit damage increase roll. Blur is a good passive for us because it's well, we're melee and it gives us a lot more survivability. You can optionally switch into maybe the Compass Rose set with the Traveler's Pledge and the other ring. That's not too bad of a set to have, and then Ring of Royal Grandeur or Unity if you choose to do so. My Bracer, this is personal preference because I love being immune to stuns and knockbacks, and I also got a pretty good roll on the Ancient with arcane damage. The alternate here is the Bracer for wizards that doubles the potency of your shields. I can't quite remember the name of it right now, but you can see it in your cube listings that it'll double the potency of all your shields. So we use quite a few shields here, so that might be an option for you. My legendary gems, we have Bane of the Powerful. Oh, go away. Bane of the Powerful, Bane of the Trapped, and wow, they're like totally wrecking my party here. Bane of the Powerful, Bane of the Trapped, and Bane of the Stricken. So this is great for higher greater rifts. You're doing a lot of attacks continuously with Spectral Blade, so you get that buff big time, and it's really helpful. The gem in my helm here is just from Season 9, so you would sub that out for probably life if you're finding you're not surviving quite so well. Obviously you got your int gems there for the rest of your items. Now I generally push crit and attack speed, so I've got 35% crit chance, could be better. I could probably roll higher on some of those. Crit hit damage is 400% almost, so that's pretty high, and attack speed is 23%, so I like to get attack speed. Attack speed is really important for your shields. Now our cube items, we have Arcane Orb, Explosions trigger twice, that's Unstable Scepter. The armor is Depth Diggers, primary skills do 100% extra damage, so that again is our Spectral Blade. And Obsidian Ring and a Zodiac, which will reduce our cooldowns by 1 second with each time we hit with a resource spending attack. So every time we hit with Arcane Orb, and we hit twice, we reduce it by 1 second, so it's 2 seconds reduction for every time Arcane Orb explodes. And also it's going to be reduced by 3 seconds for casting anything while inside your slow time because of the 2-set bonus. So basically slow time is always available. So if you look there, you can have it. You can have it constantly up. You have a lot of stutter stepping potentially, but you can have slow time up always. Have that damage taken decreased and increased damage to your enemies. So pretty nifty stuff. Looking at our skills, I always click Paragon first, but looking at our skills, we use Spectral Blade and I use Throne Blade right now. Again, if you're doing enough damage and you're not surviving, or rather if you're not doing enough damage and you're surviving, you could switch out of this and into Deflection, or Barrier Blades I mean. But again, depending on your build, you might use Barrier Blades until you have more damage so that you're killing quicker, but if you're taking longer to kill and you're taking more damage as a result, Barrier Blades may be a good option for you. Arcane Orbit is the go-to. You have to use Arcane Orbit really for this build to work. Deflection on your magic weapon, again, will generate shields for you. Ice Armor Crystallize. Now, this is kind of personal preference. I like to increase my armor up to 3 times. So you can go with any of the other ice armors if you wish, or an energy armor if you prefer to go with force armor if you're finding you're taking a lot of spiky damage. Point of no return for slow time. This is again personal preference. I like to see them stunned. It really helps in the higher greater rifts to get some kind of CC on them, even though they're already slowed. That extra stun can really help you. But the time warp is also another good piece. So if you're finding again that your damage isn't quite enough, they can take 15% more damage while in the slow time. I don't think this one's really any good for anybody. So again, you can check to see which ones you actually use, but slow time is the skill you want to go with. And this is really personal preference. Teleport, wormhole. I like to be able to teleport twice. Safe passage, again, that takes less damage. Reversal. So these are all optional, but I like wormhole. Now our passive skills, we got dominance. Again, this is generating shields every time you kill an enemy. Galvanizing ward. It's good for building up a shield between packs. Audacity, basically more damage to everyone around you within 15 yards, and that synergizes with Spectral Blade and Arcane Orb. And this also synergizes with them both because you get reduced damage while standing still and you do more damage while standing still. So that's mostly applicable to Elite packs and Rift Guardians because you have to stand still to spam Spectral Blade. So that is the build. The paragons that I go with is typically movement speed. You want to leave cooldown reduction is absolutely not necessary, so max everything out first apart from that one. Again, defenses, resist all is my kind of, I don't really need it that much. And then area damage, you can see there, is the high one. Resource cost reduction isn't that important, but again, gold find is less important than any of those, so you max them all out. So that's the items that we're using and the legendary gems that we use, plus the actual cube items that we use. So the only thing really that's left to go over is kind of options for your gems. You can switch out to an esoteric alteration if you find that you're really struggling to survive, and that would again apply maybe for the higher glyphs. So if you're going through like progression from 10 through 50 to 55 or 60 and you're killing everything but suddenly you hit a wall, you can switch out one of these, maybe switch out maybe Bane of the Powerful, because if it's taking you a long time to kill a Greater Rift Guardian, you're not going to be killing other packs along with it, so you'll lose that buff to to Rift Guardian. So this would be a good alternate. Um, Bane of the Stricken is one I would always keep. Bane of the Trapped is always buffed anyway. So there's a couple of things that you could tweak to your own liking, but that's the general build. I'll be starting Season 10 character now right after this video, and hoping to build up the gear to go through the journey, as I like the leveling up process. But please feel free to leave a comment. I'm not an expert by any means on Diablo 3, but I have played my characters to a high amount of time, so um, this is what I like. I don't really like to go for meta stuff, so if it happens to be meta, I'll play it, but um, yeah. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. Try out the build. If you don't like it, you don't like it, but you're going to get Delseer set anyway if you're doing Season Journey as a wizard, so you're not going to have to farm these items. And with the extra buff to the slow time damage up to 3500% this season, the 2.5 patch put that through, it's going to be a little bit easier to get those higher glyphs. So anyway, thanks guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, please leave a like and let me know in the comments if you have any suggestions, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you.